Let's get straight to the truth. Most men are completely blind when it comes to understanding women, and if you're watching this, chances are you've been trapped in the same exhausting cycle. You've been thinking about her constantly, wondering why she hasn't reached out, replaying every text in your head, analyzing every little action or inaction she's made, and yet, somehow, you convince yourself that her silence means disinterest, or worse, that she's moved on. Here's the controversial truth no one will tell you. Just because she's not reaching out doesn't mean you're off her mind. In fact, many men fall into a trap of overthinking and misjudging signals, making them completely oblivious to the fact that she's already thinking about them, often more than they realize. And this is where most guys fail. They get stuck in a passive mindset, waiting for a call, a text, or some miraculous sign, instead of understanding the psychology behind her actions. Now, before you get defensive, let's clarify something. This isn't about manipulation. This isn't about mind games or tricks. This is about awareness, understanding the dynamics of attraction and human behavior, and most importantly, understanding why women sometimes pull back even when they're obsessed with you in their minds. You see, the problem with most men is that they equate action with interest. They think that if a woman doesn't text first, doesn't call, doesn't chase, she doesn't care. That's absolutely wrong. And believing this will cost you more than you can imagine: time, energy, and self-respect. Women don't always behave the way you expect, and silence doesn't equal disinterest. In fact, some of the most confident, intriguing, and attractive women will intentionally create space. And here's the kicker. They do it because you've already made an impression on them that sticks in their mind. Let me make this real for you. Imagine a woman who's thinking about you constantly. Maybe she's wondering what you're doing, what you're thinking, or who you're talking to. She's remembering moments you shared, replaying your conversations, and yes, sometimes even feeling jealous or curious about your life without her. But she doesn't text you. She doesn't reach out. And that's exactly the point. Her silence doesn't mean absence of thought. It means strategy, control, or a natural human tendency to not appear too available. Here's the part that will sting a little for most men. If you're overanalyzing, panicking, or obsessing over why she's not contacting you, you're probably lowering your value in her mind. Yes, it's harsh, but it's true. A woman who already thinks about you will notice desperation, insecurity, and neediness faster than you think. And once she senses it, even subtly, her curiosity can fade, or worse, she'll start to pull away emotionally. That's why understanding this concept is not just useful, it's essential. So what should you do? First, you need to shift your perspective. Stop equating inaction with disinterest. Stop feeling guilty for her not reaching out first. Instead, recognize that she might be thinking about you more than you think. She might be replaying moments, wondering if you're the one, or evaluating her feelings in silence. And while this is happening, you have a choice. You can sit there, consumed by anxiety, or you can take the energy you're spending on worrying and redirect it into improving yourself, your life, your confidence, your presence. Here's another controversial truth that most men won't admit. Women are naturally drawn to men who live full, confident lives, not men who wait around for a text or obsess over why she's not reaching out. Think about it. If a woman is already thinking about you, she's likely aware of your value. Your job isn't to convince her or chase her, it's to live in a way that makes her curiosity grow and keeps her mentally invested, even from a distance. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why she's not reaching out, why she still thinks about you, and most importantly, how to handle it in a way that builds your confidence, maintains your value, and keeps you in control of your own emotions. This isn't about games, it's about awareness and strategy. The silent pull of attraction can be confusing, frustrating, and even maddening. But once you understand the principles, you'll see that her inaction isn't rejection. It's an opportunity to elevate yourself while she continues to think about you in ways you might not even realize. Now, before we dive into the details, I want you to understand something critical. The truth you're about to hear may challenge your assumptions, make you uncomfortable, or even anger you. But that's exactly the point. If it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. And if you want to truly understand what's happening behind the silence, you need to leave ego and misconceptions at the door. So pay close attention, because by the time this video is over, you'll have a clear understanding of why she's not reaching out, why you're still on her mind, and how you can leverage this knowledge to not just attract her, but become the kind of man who naturally commands attention and respect in any situation. Her silence isn't disinterest. Let's start with the truth most men refuse to admit. Just because she's not texting you doesn't mean she's not thinking about you. This is where a lot of men completely misread signals and convince themselves that they've been forgotten or that she's moved on. That's a huge mistake. In reality, women often communicate differently than men. Silence can be intentional, subtle, and even strategic. And it doesn't automatically mean she's lost interest. Here's why this happens. Women value emotional connection, not constant communication. She may be thinking about you constantly, replaying your conversations, or even feeling curious about your day. But she won't necessarily reach out. Sometimes, she wants to see if you're confident enough to live your life without needing her attention. Other times, she's simply giving space to process her own feelings. Her silence doesn't equal rejection. It's just a different way of engaging with you. Most men make the same fatal error. They overanalyze the situation and assume the worst. She didn't text me back, so she must not care. Wrong. You have to understand that women's minds work differently. They might be testing your energy, gauging your confidence, or even enjoying the anticipation of thinking about you without saying a word. And here's the controversial part. You overthinking her silence actually reduces your value in her eyes. Think about it this way. Imagine a woman who's deeply interested in you but hasn't reached out in a few days. She's remembering the way you made her laugh, the small things you did that showed care, or the way your presence made her feel safe. In her mind, she's revisiting these moments constantly. She's mentally with you, even if her phone stays untouched. Meanwhile, if you're panicking, sending repeated messages, or trying to force contact, you're signaling insecurity, and that's unattractive. Here's an example you'll get instantly. You had a date a week ago. Everything went well. You made her laugh. You connected. She even hinted at wanting to see you again. But now, she hasn't reached out. You start imagining the worst. Maybe she lost interest. Maybe she's seeing someone else. Maybe she didn't like you after all. The truth? She's thinking about that date more than you realize. She remembers the jokes, the chemistry, and the way you looked confident and comfortable. Her silence is not a lack of thought. It's a space where she's processing her feelings while keeping the attraction alive. Here's another layer most men ignore. Women often withdraw as a natural response to emotional tension or uncertainty. She may have questions she hasn't answered yet in her own mind. She may be testing her own feelings to see if she wants to pursue this further. She may even be observing how you act when you're not constantly chasing her. In all these cases, her silence is a sign of mental engagement, not disinterest. The problem is that men misinterpret this behavior. Many guys think that if she's not messaging, calling, or showing visible signs of interest, she's over it. That assumption is not just wrong, it's limiting. It makes men act desperate, needy, and reactive, which destroys attraction. The harsh truth is, the more you chase, the less she thinks about you positively. But if you remain composed, confident, and patient, her thoughts about you actually intensify. Here's a critical insight. Attraction works on a subtle mental level. Women remember energy, not texts. They remember the way you made them feel, not the messages you send. Every time she thinks about you while you're focused on your life, she's strengthening her emotional connection to you, even if she hasn't reached out. She's mentally building a story in her head where you're the man she's curious about, the one she can't stop thinking about. And here's where most men blow it. They wait, obsess, and try to fix the silence instead of understanding it. They miss the fact that silence can actually create desire and curiosity. It's a controversial truth, but it's reality. Women are often more invested in men who don't appear desperate. If she's not reaching out, it doesn't mean she doesn't care. It means she's letting her mind linger on you while you prove your value by living your life fully. The key takeaway here is simple but powerful. Stop overthinking her silence. Recognize that her mind is active even when her phone is silent. Respect her space. Maintain your confidence and focus on your own life. Your energy, your lifestyle, and your composure are far more influential than constant texting or chasing. The silent attention she gives you mentally is more powerful than any message she could send. So remember this. When she doesn't reach out, don't panic, don't assume the worst, and don't beg for her attention. Instead, understand that she's likely thinking about you, processing her feelings, and letting the mental connection grow. If you handle it correctly, her silence becomes your advantage, an invisible pull that keeps her attention and curiosity focused on you without you having to do anything except remain confident and self-assured. She thinks about you more than you realize. Here's the truth most men don't want to hear. Even when she's quiet, even when she's not reaching out, you are still on her mind. Every small thing you did, every conversation, every glance, these moments stay with her longer than you think. Women process emotions differently, and what may seem like distance or disinterest is often her mind replaying your presence over and over. You've probably felt it before, that nagging feeling that she's somewhere thinking about you, even if she hasn't messaged. Maybe you catch yourself wondering, is she even thinking about me? And the truth is, she probably is, far more than you realize. The funny thing is, men often don't give women enough credit for this. They think if she's not constantly talking to them, she's moved on. That's a huge mistake. Her silence can mean the exact opposite. She's engaged, curious, and emotionally invested, but quietly. Think about moments you've shared that seemed small at the time. Maybe it was a joke that made her laugh, a comment that showed her you understand her, or a subtle display of confidence she noticed without saying a word. These are the moments that stick. Women replay them in their minds, analyzing, remembering, and comparing. They don't need constant reminders because the memories themselves create an emotional connection. Every time you show authenticity, confidence, or even a little mystery, it leaves a mark on her mind. You can relate to this yourself. Think about someone you've been curious about or intrigued by. Even if they don't reach out first, you find yourself thinking about them. You remember little details, replay conversations, and imagine different scenarios. Women do the exact same thing, often even more subtly. And here's the kicker. Just because she doesn't say it doesn't mean she isn't feeling it. The problem is, men interpret silence as rejection, but attraction doesn't operate on visibility. It operates on presence in the mind. She can be thinking about you while appearing calm, distant, or preoccupied. That mental space she gives you is incredibly valuable. It's where desire grows. But most men completely misread it, assuming that nothing is happening. And that's where confidence, patience, and self-awareness come into play. Another thing you need to understand is that women value mental engagement over physical or constant contact. She might not text or call first because she wants to see if you are living your life without obsessing over her. She wants to know that you have your own priorities and boundaries. That silent evaluation only increases her mental attention on you, even if it seems like nothing is happening on the surface. This is where most men fail. They think attraction is measured by frequency of communication, likes, or emojis. But real attraction is deeper. It's the subtle, invisible pull created in her mind by your presence, your energy, and your life. Every confident action you take, every moment you're unapologetically yourself, increases her thoughts about you, often without her even realizing it. You can probably relate to this on a smaller scale in your own life. Think about someone you respect or are curious about. You don't need constant updates from them to think about them. Their energy, confidence, or even mystery keeps your attention. Women operate the same way, but many men are too impatient to see it. They overreact to silence, forgetting that attraction is often cultivated in the mental space between messages, calls, or dates. Here's the takeaway. She is thinking about you more than you realize, and that's a good thing. The fact that she hasn't reached out isn't a sign that you're irrelevant. It's a sign that she's processing, evaluating, and mentally invested in you. This is the kind of attention you can't buy or force. It's earned through confidence, authenticity, and presence. So instead of obsessing over what she isn't doing, focus on what she is, thinking about you. She's remembering moments you've shared, imagining possibilities, and replaying the energy you give off. Her mind is engaged, and that engagement often translates into desire. The most important thing you can do is match that mental energy by being confident, independent, and unapologetically yourself. That's what keeps her attention and makes her thoughts about you grow even without her ever reaching out. When you understand this, everything changes. Silence stops being stressful. Inaction stops feeling like rejection, and you start seeing her mind at work, recognizing the mental pull she has for you, and learning how to respect it without losing your own power. Stop chasing, start living. Here's a truth most men refuse to face. Chasing her isn't attractive. Not texting her constantly. Not overanalyzing every pause or delay. Not begging for attention. Yet countless men make the same mistake every single day. They let their anxiety and neediness control them, and in the process, they lose the one thing that naturally draws women in: confidence. Let's be honest, you've probably done this yourself. You wait for her to respond, refreshing your phone every few minutes, thinking about what she's doing or who she's talking to. You replay every interaction, every joke, every compliment in your head. You assume that if she's not reaching out, she's lost interest, and your energy goes from confident to desperate in seconds. This is exactly what I mean when I say men need to wake up. Desperation kills attraction faster than anything else. Here's the hard reality. Women are drawn to men who are busy, engaged, and living a meaningful life. They notice energy, presence, and self-assuredness, not endless messages or emotional pleading. The more you chase, the less attractive you become. And here's the controversial part. Many men are chasing women who are already thinking about them. They don't realize that the more they pull, the more they push her attention away. It's ironic, but true. You need to understand something very important. Her mind is already engaged with you. She's thinking about you, replaying your moments, wondering about you. But if your energy is consumed by worry, panic, or attempts to force her attention, you destroy the very thing that makes her curious about you. Confidence, independence, and living your own life is far more magnetic than constant pursuit. Let's put this in perspective. How often have you seen men ruin opportunities by overinvesting too soon? By asking too many questions, trying too hard, or putting her needs above their own? This behavior makes women uncomfortable because it signals low value and insecurity. And here's the thing. This isn't about being manipulative or cold. It's about understanding natural human attraction and behaving in a way that keeps her thinking about you without sacrificing your self-respect. The moment you stop chasing, something powerful happens. Your mind frees up, your energy shifts, and your life becomes more interesting. You start doing things that matter, working on yourself, pursuing goals, developing skills, and living in a way that demands respect. And guess what? She notices. Not through messages, not through words, but through the subtle energy you radiate. That energy keeps her attention, even when you're not texting, calling, or trying to get her to notice you. Here's a reality check. Most men live in a constant state of neediness. They think attraction comes from persistence. They believe that if they push harder, they'll get results. That's a lie, and it's holding you back. Attraction works in reverse. Confidence, independence, and self-control create desire, while chasing, pleading, or overthinking kills it. So here's the advice every man needs. Stop living for her attention and start living for yourself. Focus on your goals, your hobbies, your social life. Be the man who commands respect and curiosity without having to ask for it. When you live this way, her mental pull toward you becomes stronger, not weaker. She will think about you more, wonder about you more, and value the time she has with you more. Let's be real. You can't control her actions, and you can't make her reach out. But you can control yourself, your energy, and your mindset. That's where true power lies. And here's the controversial truth most men avoid. If you don't wake up and stop chasing, you're the one who loses, not her. She might be thinking about you, but if you're desperate, insecure, or reactive, her thoughts won't translate into connection, respect, or desire. In short, stop overthinking every pause, stop seeking validation, and stop letting her actions dictate your happiness. Focus on living a life that makes her think about you, not because she has to, but because she can't help it. That's how attraction works. That's how you regain control. That's how you shift the dynamic in your favor. Wake up, stop chasing, start living. Be a man who is too interesting, too confident, and too engaged in life for any silence to shake him. When you do, you'll see the shift, not just in her mind, but in your own. Confidence, independence, and self-respect are far more powerful than constant pursuit, and once you embrace that, everything changes. The controversial truth you need to hear. Here's the truth most men will never admit to themselves. If she's not reaching out, it's not because she doesn't care, it's because you've allowed yourself to be predictable, needy, and too available. That's harsh, I know, but sometimes the wake-up call you need doesn't come wrapped in comfort. Most men think attraction is earned by persistence. They believe that showing constant interest proves value. And the reality? It destroys your value every single time. Let me make this very clear. Attraction is mental first. Women remember presence, confidence, and energy, not texts, calls, or constant reassurance. If you're caught up in chasing, overanalyzing, and stressing over why she's not contacting you, you're wasting your most powerful resource, your own life. You're giving away your energy to someone who's already thinking about you, without realizing that your neediness can actually repel her. That's the controversial truth. Most men sabotage their own chances by trying too hard with women who are already invested in them mentally. Think about it. She might be lying in bed, scrolling through her phone, thinking about your last conversation, or remembering moments that made her smile. She's mentally invested. Yet, here you are, replaying the same doubts over and over, feeling frustrated because she hasn't reached out. That's the disconnect most men never understand. She's not ignoring you because she doesn't care. She's silently evaluating, observing, and yes, letting her curiosity build while you waste energy proving yourself. Here's the controversial part. If you truly understood how the female mind works, you wouldn't chase. You'd live your life, stay confident, and let her mental pull grow naturally. The chase is the most unmanly thing you can do in this situation. It's weak, desperate, and transparent. And yet, so many men fall into this trap every day, wondering why women lose interest when, in fact, they're thinking about them constantly. Now, I know this might make some of you uncomfortable. You might be thinking, but she's not reaching out. Doesn't that mean I should do something? Here's the truth you need to internalize. The moment you act from neediness, panic, or insecurity, you turn her mental attraction into frustration. Women notice energy more than words. They feel it in subtle ways. And when your energy is desperate, anxious, or reactive, it kills the pull she has for you, even if she was thinking about you all along. This is why I'm being so direct here. Men, wake up. Stop being controlled by messages, notifications, and imagined signals. Stop giving away your attention to someone who is already thinking about you. Start focusing on yourself, your goals, your energy, and your confidence. That's how you turn silent thoughts into real attraction. That's how you shift the dynamic. so that she isn't just thinking about you. She's drawn to you in a way that respects your presence and independence. Here's what I want you to do. Comment below and share your experiences. Tell me the moments when you felt frustrated because she wasn't reaching out, or the times when you realized she was thinking about you in silence. I want to hear from you. I want to connect with you. Because this isn't just a video, it's a conversation. I've seen it happen countless times. Men who stop chasing, start living, and suddenly notice the shift in attention and attraction. And you can experience it too. Remember, the most controversial, uncomfortable truth here is this. If you're panicking over her silence, you're the one losing power, not her. She may be thinking about you constantly, but if your energy is weak, needy, or reactive, it doesn't matter. You've given away your advantage without even realizing it. The only way to reclaim it is to live life on your terms. Focus on your confidence and stop chasing what's already yours mentally. So here's the final takeaway. Her silence is not rejection. Her inaction is not indifference. What matters is your energy, your mindset, and how you carry yourself. Live your life fully, unapologetically, and confidently. Let her think, wonder, and mentally invest in you while you focus on building your own success. That's the difference between being forgotten and being unforgettable. And here's what I want from you. Comment below. Share your story. Let me know if you've been overthinking, obsessing, or chasing. I'll read your comments and I'll connect with as many of you as possible because this isn't just theory, it's real life. And trust me, the moment you embrace this truth, you'll start seeing a shift you didn't think was possible. Wake up. Stop chasing. Start living. Let her think about you while you live life on your terms. That's how attraction works. And that's how you finally gain control. Not through messages, not through texts, not through chasing, but through your confidence, presence, and energy.